Hi, welcome back to the Gem Hawks YouTube channel. I hope you're having a very good day, whatever it is you're up to. What I would like to show you today is how to use one of my favourite tools, which is the Wire Crinkler Tool, to create a fabulous zigzag bangle. So that's an example of what it can look like, and I'll show you those closer on the board in a moment. So you could have that with a little hinge, like a J-hook, as we have here. You could have that with a bolt ring, as I've put there, a bolt ring clasp. Or you could have that as an open bangle with just some coils on the end. What I'm going to show you today is the technique for setting some crystals, some bicone crystals, in between two pieces of zigzagged wire, and then adding a framework either side. We're going to be working with 3 different gauges of wire, 1mm gauge for the outsides of the bangle. Now you can take that up to 1.25mm gauge, it does make a much stronger bangle. I just haven't got any today, so I'm working with 1mm. The zigzags are going to be made with 0.8mm gauge, which once it's all tied together is perfectly strong enough for the interior of the bangle design. And then I'm going to be using 0.4mm gauge to create the winding together to keep everything safe and sound. Now I've got a couple of different samples which, if you join me down at the board, I'm going to show you now. So these are the 3 pieces that I've got in my hand. I've got some round faceted gemstones here. These are an agate, a beautiful warm agate, and that's in a bronze tone wire, and I've just popped a little J-hook on one end and some roses, which is exactly the same technique as my rose ring design. Very nice way to just cover up anything that you want to cover up. Another alternative is to use crystal bicones. These are half coated AB fire bicones. These are, I think, 4mm in size, and these have just got some lovely coils over the ends of each of the bangle. That's probably the simplest place to start with this design, and this is in a pearlescent white silver colour wire. And then the last one that I've got as a sample has got some teeny tiny half fire coated, and these are little 3mm kind of rondelles, so you can work with almost anything. What I've got in my bag, excuse the rustling, are some 6mm gauge blush rose bicones by Swarovski. So I've threaded some of these onto my 0.4mm gauge, and they are ready to be used in the design. They're just going to hang out over there and probably waggle around and get on my nerves, so bear with. Let's get that tidied away for the second. We're also going to be using 0.8mm gauge to create the zigzag. So I've got a couple here, and I'm going to be showing you on a shorter segment, but I'll also show you a little bit later on. When I show you how to attach the wires, there's a full-size piece here. You can see with the 0.6mm gauge bicones, the crystals kind of sit above the zigzag. And with the 0.4mm, which are just here, they've just decided to all join up, the 0.4mm gauge, the crystals sit inside the design. So it's entirely up to you. Both of these are going to look pretty, and they use the exact same technique. So I have just uploaded a mini video showing you some of the pitfalls and how to get started with your wire crinkler machine. Very, very briefly, it has a plastic back, and then you've got some pins and some gears which fit onto the pins. I've had this a very, very long time, dropped it a number of times, so the pins tend to fall out when I don't want them to. And then you have a little block at the top through which you can guide your wire. Anyway, there is a little video dedicated to showing you how to use that. So what we're going to do is look at some zigzags which we've made using our Wire Crinkler Tool. And I'm just going to start by turning the ends over. Now you will need to work out how long you want your piece to be. This is going to become a wraparound bangle, and you'll see at the end of the video what that looks like in a wraparound formation. But you can create bangles that fit to the wrist, or as I said earlier, you've got ones which are just open, which you can slide on and off. It's entirely up to you. But you need to have 2 zigzag lengths, which are probably about ½ an inch, or maybe 1.5 centimetres to 2 centimetres longer than you actually want the piece to be. Because what we're going to do is just curl away those end pieces. I'm going to start by gripping very close to the end of the pliers and the end of the wire, and just draw that around to make a little circular feature on the end. And I'm going to do the same on all 4 ends of the wires. I'm just going to show you on these 2 so that we can get started. Draw that around. Now what you can do is come in with any flat facing pliers, give that a squeeze, to make sure that it sits in just 2 dimensions and there are no raised segments. So we're going to work with these side by side and in opposite. So you don't want them to nestle like so, you want them to be symmetrically opposite. Diametrically opposed, I think, is the... no, that's probably wrong. I'm not a mathematician nor a scientist. So give that a squeeze, get that to sit. So what we're going to do is now bring in the 0.4mm gauge wire. And what I'm going to do is make sure that I have a couple of beads spare, because I want to start a little way into the design. So as I say, they need to be opposite one another. So I'm going to start, let's go with 3 back from the end. And I'm going to draw my wire around those 2 points where the design meets. I'm going to hold them open slightly and I'm going to spin over the top, around the outside, underneath. I'm going to do that twice. And I'm going to come back up and lay the wire diagonally across that little feature that we've created. Now I'm going to plop in one of my bicones. As I say, these are a 6mm. It works beautifully with 4mm. It didn't have any to hand. So I'm going to sit that inside the design that we're creating. Give that a very, very gentle pinch to secure it. And then I'm going over the top and around again twice. There's a little bit of a gap in the middle because they're 6mm. You can bring those 2 points together a little bit closer if you're working with smaller bicones. Give that a squeeze so it's nice and tidy. And I'm going to pop in another one like so, just to repeat the design with you. It's just gone away from me slightly there, so I just need to open that back out. It does start to build its own strength as you move through. So over the top of the 2 sections of wire, around both of those sections where the wire meets in the middle, diagonally across. And then if I just hold it with one hand like so, hopefully the wires won't get away from me. Slide that piece down into position. Now for this last one at the very, very end, it's ever so slightly different. I'm going to post the wire through one of these holes I've created. Push that so that it comes all the way through, and then tie those 2 pieces together as if you were at where the 2 points meet in the centre, exactly the same way you have been doing, but you've got a little bit more work to do to get it to go through. So pull that through a second time, and because we're at the end and this forms part of the strength of the structure, I'm going to take that through a third time. So through the little loop, through the other little loop, and all the way around. Now what you can do at this juncture is give that a bit of a tidy up, make sure that that's neat and sound. And you could wrap 2 or 3 times inside the little loop at the end here. But what I'm going to do is leave that wire free for now, because I might want to use it later just to tie on. So if you want to work back in the opposite direction, you can have all of your beads pre-stranded to make your life easier. If, like me, you find it difficult to strand smaller beads, sometimes it pays to get that all done in one. So if we're going to do this backwards, you would just drop the bead into position. And we're now working from the lower corner to the upper corner diagonally. So draw the wire over the top, round once and around twice, before you would continue to bring those beads in. So all you would do is fill your design, and you can see, as I said earlier, that the 6mm bicones sit on top of the design, whereas the 4mm bicones, they will sit inside the design. Now obviously you then have some questions of whether that's going to be comfortable for you. I actually don't have a problem with it. I don't find it uncomfortable. If you suffer from certain sensitivities, that might not be the design for you. But what you can do then is work with a rounder bead rather than a bicone. It's entirely down to you. You're in charge of the design. So what you will end up with is a series of joined zigzags with your gemstones, or your, in this case, bicone crystals, sitting inside or above that double zigzag design. So what I've done is I've added some 1mm gauge wire on one side. I'm just going to free myself some 0.4mm gauge now, so bear with me while I just free that away. Here we go. Should have got a piece ready, never mind. So ideally you'll be working probably for a piece of this length with about 12 inches of 0.4mm gauge wire. But what I want to do for you today is show you the technique. So I have my 1mm gauge wire, and I would have had 2 of these to sit either side and match up with the zigzags. And they need to be just ever so slightly longer than your zigzags. And you put a little curl on either end, and then you'd find a way to sit that into your design however you would like that to sit. So if I just show you with the piece we were working on a moment ago, I'm just going to put a little tiny curl on the end here, a little semi-coil or a loop. Give that a squeeze to make sure it's nice and secure and you're working with a nice flat piece of wire. And then it would just be a case of laying that however you feel is appropriate for your design. So I would probably put the coil underneath the little loops that we made here, and that's how that would join up. But I am going to show you that now. I can show you on this piece, and then probably better if I show you on this piece because you'll see it come together. So I'm going to lay the wire next to the open side. Obviously I've already done one because I wanted to show you what it will look like when it's finished. I'm going to pop that into position. So for this piece it's slightly narrower down, and then I'm going to start again about 3 or 4 points away from the end. I'm going to start by doing just a little loop around just the bare outside wire by itself. And then I'm going to take the tail of my wire, my fine 0.4mm gauge, I'm going to pop that up inside one of those little diamond shapes that we created by bringing those 2 zigzags together. So if I draw that firmly up, what we're looking to do is to have that straight line of wire against the tip of the zigzag. So those are now side by side. So I'm taking the tail and I'm wrapping or helixing just once around just the wire on the outside. And I'm going to repeat by coming up inside one of those diamond shapes we made, drawing those 2 pieces of wire together to create a very firm bangle indeed. So again, helix just around the outside wire, and then up inside that diamond shape that houses the base of our bicone crystal, all the time making sure that you're in 2 dimensions. We want that wire, the outside 1mm gauge wire, to sit flush with those zigzags and not to disappear underneath or over the top. So we've brought the penultimate zigzag to the outside wire. So again, another little helix around the outside by itself. Last one, wrapping together the frame wire with the zigzag. And then what I'm going to do is go up inside that diamond shape again. I bring that up to you and try and focus. It doesn't want to do that for me today. There we go. So I'm just going to come inside that last little diamond shape, draw that together, and then I'm going to go down inside the little loop on the outside there, making sure again that it is flat, and I'm going to tie this all together. So post the tail through. I might just drop that back down to the board because it will be much smoother. There we go. So I'm just going to tie that loop to the framework and around a piece that we put together earlier on, again through that final loop. Make sure that you can actually see that. You may need to resort to pliers or tweezers to bring that through, and then up and around whatever shape you've made at the end. So drawing that together, giving that a squeeze. You must always be careful when working with gemstones or crystals that you don't crush them. And I'm going to go for 2 more loops at the end, one like so. One last one up through that tiny little gap that we're left with, and then trim away and smooth that end section down. Hopefully you're all still able to see what's going on. Give that a squeeze together and then squish like so. So if I pinch you back out, there we go. And then what you would do is continue all the way along. So if you come back in this direction, we're now moving in a slightly different way, but the theory is exactly the same. So my wire's coming from underneath the framework, so I want to post that down inside the diamond that houses the crystal, the diamond shaped wire, so that I'm wrapping together my frame wire and the corner of that diamond shape. And again, when you're coming in this direction, it's much easier. You can just slide that wire down the centre to helix once around the framework. It looks a little tiny bit complicated, but it isn't. Once you get into the rhythm, you're always going to be moving your wires in the same direction. So when you're taking the peak of the diamond shape that houses the crystal and you're wiring that together with the frame wire that goes along the outside, you're always going in the same direction. And once you get that motion, it's absolutely fine. So we'll just have a quick look at some of the other pieces that we've made. If you pop down to the board with me now, these are some of the sample pieces that I've got with you. This one, I simply coiled some excess wire around the outside 1mm gauge and just wrap that around to create a loop on the end. And then you can kind of do anything you want with that loop. You could have a bolt ring clasp, you could have a parrot clasp or something similar. You could indeed use a J hook like has been created with this one, but this is a complete and solid bangle now. This one you would obviously open up like so, but you can use pre-formed, pre-made clasps or even bits of ribbon. And then this one shows you what it looks like with a 4mm stone or crystal inside the diamond. Again, for me, I find that quite comfortable. It may not be for you. This is what we were working on today. Scooch those out the way and it sits nice on top. And then very, very gently, when you're ready to, you can start curving that around. So that's the idea behind this design, my zigzag bangle. It's not just for bangles, you can use it for all sorts. It makes the most amazing chokers as well. And what you can do is layer more than one up together. It does get slightly more tricky. And where you have the one row of crystals housed between the heavy gauges of wire, what you can do is create another zigzag framework and pop it together so that the points sit in the gaps on the framework. The options are virtually endless once you get your hands on the technique. So I hope you've enjoyed the zigzag bangle. I hope you've enjoyed watching me waffle on about gemstones and crystals again. And I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. I'm Gem Hawkes. Thank you so much for continuing to watch. Take care and have a great day.